What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I want to do a part 2 to my next major anime game video that I talked about a couple days ago. Now, in case you missed that, I will link it in the description below. But to basically summarize it, Koei Tecmo is currently surveying the anime community for what anime game we want next. On the list, in their poll, which is also linked in the description below, they have One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, Fairy Tail, One Piece, Naruto, Sword Art Online, and other. Essentially, it's your chance as an anime fan to tell them what anime game we want next. And by the way, if you have not voted yet, go vote right now. Again, it's in the description below, and I believe this poll is going to be up until February 8th. But as this poll went around, I saw a lot of people confused as how certain games would work. For example, a lot of people were saying that One Punch Man would not work as a video game because he wins in one punch, and because of that, that'd be a terrible choice. Well, I disagree, and of course, I want to hear from you guys as well. So if you have suggestions yourselves of how you think some of these games will work, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's talk about a potential Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man game, and as well as Fairy Tail and the other ones. So without further ado, let's talk about the stuff. Now, as far as One Punch Man, and I'm going to refer to it as OPM from now on because One Punch Man is way big of a mouthful to say over and over again. As far as an OPM game, I see two possible ways it could work. The first one could be your standard typical fighting game, which could be like a 3D-ish or maybe a 2D style game, whatever, where it features all the awesome characters of the OPM world. Now, if you watch One Punch Man, you're aware that it's not all about Saitama. The OPM world has amazing characters such as Genos, they have Sonic, they have all the S-rank heroes. There's a lot of pretty interesting characters in the game, even weird ones like Mugen Rider. Now, imagine a fighting game where you feature all those characters in the same, field. It would be interesting to play. Now, before you say, well, what about Saitama? He's OP, he would one punch. Yeah, I get that, but that's not how this would work in a video game format. As you guys remember, in Tenkaichi 3, Yajirobe was one of the most OP characters in the entire game just because he had the sense of being ultimate, and you can basically always win with Yajirobe just because you can get your health back. But naturally, you can't just make someone way more overpowered than another person in terms of how the character is in anime. So in this case, it would just be a standard fighting game. Now, as far as a second way an OPM game could work, and this is the one I'm most excited about that I wish would happen, is a Dynasty Warriors style game. Now, I get it, with Dynasty Warriors, we're all kind of tired of it. We've seen so many Dynasty Warriors games in the last decade, and they're never going to die. But honestly, I don't know what it is. I just keep coming back to them. Whether it's One Piece Pirate Warriors, or even the Gundam games, or even playing the typical Dynasty Warriors games that I grew up under, a Dynasty Warriors game where you were basically your favorite anime character in the beat-em-up action is just a lot of fun to play. And I feel like if they made a One Punch Man or OPM Universe Dynasty Warriors game where it's you versus like hordes of monsters or enemies or whatever, that could be so much freaking fun to play, especially with the variety of characters available in an OPM Universe. Again, One Punch Man is not all about just Saitama, it's about the other characters as well. Imagine playing as Genos, taking on hundreds of monsters at once, or playing as maybe even Sonic, the ninja guy, taking out a bunch of enemies. It could be a lot of fun, and I feel like between both of those, I would much prefer a Dynasty Warriors style game when it came down to One Punch Man. But still, either way, if both formats work and whatever ends up winning, I will be down to play. Now, I will point out that the company that's actually developing these games or being suggested to under Koei Tecmo is known as Gust, and the games they've done in the past have been more on the RPG side, turn-based style stuff. Now, I'm not really familiar with the entire library of games, but from what I've seen, it might possibly be an RPG game, if anything. In which case, One Punch Man would be an awful choice for an RPG game. Now, the other two games I'll talk about is Hunter x Hunter and Fairy Tail. Mostly Hunter x Hunter, but I want to talk about Fairy Tail as well because I know that's the one that's currently winning in the poll. Now, we'll talk about Fairy Tail later, but for now, let's talk about Hunter x Hunter. When I found out that Gus does a bunch of RPG games, I figured Hunter x Hunter could be the perfect RPG game. If you think about it, RPG games are all about the story rather than the mechanics and action. And I feel like if Hunter x Hunter was made into an RPG game, it would be absolutely perfect. To those who watch the series, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't seen it yet. To those who watch the series, I'm sure you will agree with me that a Hunter x Hunter RPG game could be incredibly amazing, super lengthy, super awesome cutscenes. On top of that, it could just be fun to play. The thing about Hunter x Hunter that makes it so awesome is the characters are just incredibly fun to be around, that makes sense. I just want to play as everybody and kind of go through the story of the entire, Hunter x Hunter universe. And I feel like if Gust, which is the company developing this game or being suggested to, did an RPG game based on Hunter x Hunter, I'll be 100% down to support it. Now, again, if you take it back, we could also do a fighting game as well, but honestly, I feel like based on the stuff that Gus has done in the past, it will least likely be a fighting game. So if anything, it'll be an RPG game that comes out of it, and I will be 100% down to play an RPG Hunter x Hunter game. Now, as far as Fairy Tail, I will just go ahead and point out, as you guys already know, I'm not a big fan of the Fairy Tail series. However, it is winning in the polls, and I have to kind of talk about it. And honestly, based on what Gus has done before, I believe a Fairy Tail RPG game by Gus could also work as well. Now, the question is do you guys, the Fairy Tail fans, would want that? Because I feel like with Fairy Tales, you guys would rather much want an not an RPG game, but an action game that's similar to Attack on Titan. Now, that's not to say that Gus can't do that. It's just, looking at the games that they made in the past, I feel like their specialty is in RPG games and more the long journey type of things. But at the same time, that's kind of what Fairy Tail is. Fairy Tail is a journey. Now, like I said, I have not watched all of Fairy Tail. I watched a handful of episodes, and I personally have never been a big fan of it. However, I feel like if they made an RPG Fairy Tail game, it could also very well work. So honestly, when it comes down to it, the best obvious choices are Hunter x Hunter and Fairy Tail. As much as I would want in a One Punch Man game, I feel like unless they do Dynasty Warriors, it just wouldn't work that well. I mean, think about that. One Punch Man, the RPG, it doesn't work that well. Unless there's a bunch of QT in that, in which case, I'd rather play the game rather than just be forced to press buttons like on the screen. Kind of how Asura's Wrath was, which was a game that came on the PS3 a long time ago, which it looked nice, but it just wasn't that much fun to play. But ultimately, I feel like when it comes down to it, the two obvious choices to go with are Hunter x Hunter and Fairy Tail, just because they work really, really well in an RPG format. But again, I don't know what they're developing. For all we know, they could very well develop something that's similar to how Koei Tecmo has been doing, or Omega Force has been doing Attack on Titan for the PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. For all we know, they could do that exact same thing, because up to this point, Omega Force has done a lot of Dynasty Warriors games, and here they are doing something different for I don't know if it's the first time or how often they do it, but this is definitely a different Omega Force game as opposed to the past. So it all really depends to what they decide to do, honestly. But the question I have for you guys is what do you guys want in terms of an RPG game if that's what happens? Comment below. But yeah, I just really want to make this quick video to talk about the possibilities of how some of these games could work in video game, or how some of these anime could work in video game format. And I think I kind of made my point pretty clear. If not, comment below and I'll try to address it much better. But again, One Punch Man would work really, really well in the Dynasty Warriors format. As far as Fairy Tail and Hunter x Hunter, I think an RPG could be awesome. You know what? I'm honestly, at this point, I'm kind of down for something new, because like we've been getting the same kind of anime games for years. They're always either fighting games or they're kind of like Dynasty Warriors, which is kind of contradictory to what I just said, how I want a One Punch Man game to be like Dynasty Warriors. But you get the point. I am down, or I am just ready for an anime RPG at this point, and whatever Gust and Koei Tecmo end up pulling out of their hat with this poll in the future of the anime game industry, I will play. So yeah. Anyways, if you have not voted yet, the link to that poll is in the description below. Go vote several times. If you have to, tell all your friends, family, sister, mother, cousin, aunt, neighbor, whoever, even your dog, if you can vote, or she can vote, to vote on this poll, and let's make this next anime game as amazing as it can be. Let's see what Gus gives us in the future. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. If you did, leave a like right below. Don't forget to comment your own thoughts and feedback on how an anime game could work in these different formats, or what you guys actually want. I really want a Yu Yu Hakusho game. I'm going to point that out because I saw a lot of you guys talking about that, but I feel like Yu Yu Hakusho is just not as popular as it used to be. But I really wish a Yu Yu Hakusho game would come out in the future, because I am just ready to play the game that I never got in my childhood. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts, and I guess we'll take it from there. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Rhymestyle, and I will see all you awesome super sandwiches in the comment section below. Peace.